laying it up. You keep it laying it up. Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for bringing us back to that.
Absolutely.
So with the new
that
hemp-
one was not my fault.
Yeah, with the new hemp bill.
the new hemp farm bill overhaul.
Yeah.
No, so this one I do not know a ton about. Like I literally saw this. I listened to a few minutes of the perspective on it. So my point of teeing that up is if you see loopholes in kind of what I'm throwing out, say it, because I'm not an expert on this topic at all.
Real quick, is the new hemp bill going to change anything for you?
I think so. I think in terms of THC is where we're really going to see big changes. We kind of saw that coming.
Yeah.
And especially since I've been leaning into licensing eco into the medical states, we said with Beehive blends, let's just go the other direction. And so we recently reformulated where all of our products are THC free. And we have the way that we source and extract our own cannabinoids, we don't actually anticipate now being impacted other than those reformulations. But we had actually announced that a few weeks before the new hemp bill even dropped. So
Well, here's what people aren't even realizing. Let's say that you are somebody, which is why I asked you, not because I think this is going to affect you, but just because I was curious.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that aren't even thinking, yes, this new farm bill doesn't touch CBD, it doesn't touch CBC and all these other non-intoxicating cannabinoids. But a whole lot of those are made in facilities and by the same people that are dealing with THC. So I'm saying now, I'm calling it, if you will, and I may be wrong, I may be dead wrong, but I think we're going to see pricing differences with the minors too.
Huge, yep.
Because now the people that, a lot of times they do this because it's a byproduct anyway, and all they've got to do is an extra strip, and now they've got another stream of revenue.
Yep, absolutely.
Now
that is the stream of revenue.
It's the revenue,
absolutely.
Right.
So what's really weird about that though is their input materials will now actually be more compliant. So they are actually now getting higher yields than they were. And in all actuality, the cannabinoid producers, their costs will go down, but costs will still rise, not because the supply chain diminished, but because it shifted. Now, I think that'll be a short-term rise, because I think you'll also see people now on purpose getting into minor cannabinoid extractions. The problem with that is, down in Texas, there's some facilities, doing extractions in like silo size. You've got people that are, using CFC chromatography to spin out isolated cannabinoids by the 55-gallon drums. And so I don't really think that the producers that are wise will be affected a lot. Our plan with that, we have a processing license out of Utah under UDAF there. And so we have CBD farms there. So we just go extract ourselves. Because again, even on the CBD side, nobody was doing things the way I wanted them done, so we just do them ourselves.
Yeah, that's the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's something that popped into my head when you were saying that is a lot of these guys that are now into minors, in the THC included, the THC, different THCs, but they were specifically looking for plant that yielded the same amount of, as regular.
Absolutely.
But the life cycle stage was a little bit different,
where
right?
It tested under that limit right before pre-harvest.
The chop date, it was
absolutely.
Now that's going to be phased
completely
out
opposite,
completely. Now they're going to be
opposite.
able to not pheno hunt, but they're going to be able to just look specifically for strains that are this and this, and they're actually going to be looking at true hemp strains, not.
And now
there is a difference. A lot of people don't know that or don't realize that. And I guess it's kind of because in the Oklahoma industry and pretty much any legal state, you just kind of group them together because they are so closely related. Even before they were wildly different, they're just very closely related. But now you're going to be looking at true hemp, and that's.
And especially what's interesting is I think we could have had like a renaissance of like 1-to-1-to-1s of minor cannabinoids. People like Atticus Green had that Lost Alaskan that was like 1-to-1 CBD to CBG. Like it was beautiful. And then it just disappeared because there's no cannabis market picking that up,
Right.
But now the thing that I worry about with these changes in the Farm Bill is that they're starting to look to take control of seeds.
Right.
And so that's where it's like, okay, so
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's in the verbiage.
Really?
Because now a seed is based on its potential, not what it is. Because that was a loophole, right? See, well, no seed's got THC. It's just a seed. It's just a little seed.
Of course, yeah.
But now it's based on its potential, the same way that decarboxylation should have been the whole time.
That should scare people in a way like so.
That's why I don't think they're going to do
shouldn't say
Schedule 3. I think they're just going to control the seeds. Then you don't have to make it illegal. Then you make it legal. But listen, you can't grow it. Let's pay the tax man to buy the seeds. We can control how many seeds you get. That's what I mean. That's a little conspiracy theory-ish, but let's jump.
Hey, but you say that, but it's not outside the realm of possibility.
They're 100% ready to go. Big business on cannabis.
Oh yeah,
like they've got the model, they've got the plan. They're just waiting for the moment.
Absolutely,
and they're still fighting it and still funding it away from it. Not because they're not ready to go, but because it's why change it if you've been in this lane for so long and you fucking control it. Why change it? But we've gotten into this with so many people and not get into it, but just talking about it.
Yeah.
Big Alcohol made a massive donation to what's the other old guy, the McConnell
old guy.
I won't say politicians' names out loud.
Fair, good point.
I won't be a target. Go ahead.
Yeah, no shit.
And Brandon Fountain.
Yeah. This is my friend Brandon. I mean, this is a guy, Brandon, that I know. Once I met him.
You spell it like water fountain, but
like a water fountain. That's my.
He's 35 years old.
He's 35. He lives at 522. So I don't know. But yeah, no. Alcohol was I think it was like a $900,000 contribution, which doesn't even seem like that much.
I bet it was more.
Well, yeah, that's what was
certain.
That's what was logged, right? I'm just be curious because that's not big enough to change a whole lot. And
no,
I'm just curious what that's just scratching the surface of what was the real. What else was it?
Well, and alcohol consumption across the board is like insanely down. Like it's way down. So I mean, alcohol's never going to go away.
No, of course not.
But there's a different path now that you can take.
But see, I'm the kind of guy. I don't think it should be made illegal or anything because that's how you get more alcoholics. It's just the kind of people we are. It's the human race. But I love to see that it's down because that means that while it's still legal and the numbers are going down, that means that people are finding other things. And there's a whole lot of other things you can run into that are better than alcohol. There's some that are worse, but there's a whole lot of better things you can run into as well. So alcohol, man, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, I've made a ton of poor decisions.
Man. So I was just thinking about.
I've only actually been drunk twice.
Really?
Yeah, both of my bachelor parties. I was married twice. Oh
boy, that's a rough party to get drunk at.
So the first one I tried to drive a Porsche home.
Hell yeah.
And I can't drive standard, thank God.
So just rode in first.
It was the first night that my dad and stepdad had met each other. And they gave me like 16 rum and cokes and put me up on the stage with the strippers. It was terrible.
But I bet it was great.
And the second time was...
They don't remember it.
The second time was second bachelor party, and I tried to drive the stripper.
That'll happen. That will happen.
But,
Been there, done that.
thankfully, I couldn't drive that standard either.
You're right. That's hilarious. No, dude, we were like kind of like brought up in the culture of like especially like junior high school, American Pie, like get fucked up. Like it was like the thing. The goal was like we're going out, we're getting fucked up, and dude, like because obviously I look at it way different. I don't drink and haven't for a while, but like I let my kids know, like I'm straight with them. I'm like, dangerous. It's very dangerous. Like you're gonna be around it. I'm sure you're gonna play with it, but understand what it is. It is dangerous. Moderation with anything is key. I mean, you can overdose on water.
Absolutely.
If you overdo that. You're close.
So you're real close.
Yeah, but I'm not a doctor.
No, so
these are my not doctor close.
Not doctor.
What the
healer?
I think I've listened to two different cannabis attorneys, which not in Oklahoma, but I'm taking like a rough how I see what they're saying, but basically what they're saying in the new hemp farm bill, which the goal was to get rid of gas station weed, right?
the
did that-
THCA flower. Yeah.
They effectively have done that. There's no.
Oh yeah, that's gonna. Well, I mean, within the next year, it's all
Right.
gonna be gone. Yeah.
There's no like loophole there, but what
No.
they are saying is in the same area where it mentions the seeds and the potential.
The clones.
There's no verbiage for clones.
Yeah, because they're based on the same law as the seeds.
Well, so the way that they are saying it, the way that they're picking it apart, they're saying that the people who have the infrastructure in place right now, they can effectively transition their business to the clone business, and at that certain specific place and time where they're a clone, they can effectively legally
Then ship
them.
clones.
But the clone
everywhere.
had to start somewhere.
See, I don't think so, because I think that's where you, as a scientist, I follow the progression of the seed, right? If
Right,
the
right.
seed itself is
Existed.
based upon its potential psychoactivity, what does the seed turn into next? Then that is also follows the same rules. If there's no set rules for the next stage of life cycle, you follow the previous rules. That would be my opinion.
Well, and you're coming at it, which they're coming at it from the
They're trying to
lawyer-
find a loophole.
they're looking for the loophole.
I'm trying to make sure nobody's going to get their livelihood taken away doing some dumb crash
Well,
dummy
because
shit.
what we've seen in Oklahoma, a lot of when people are getting shut down or they're getting a product line pulled or whichever, it seems to come down to opinion a lot. Like
Well,
it's kind of crazy. Like you,
Well, it
in
does,
perspective.
it does, but there were also usually in those cases a lot of avoidable steps where
Yes.
compliance was very easily attainable. Before any of the science stuff, right? My previous industry, I was in corporate telecom. I worked for a phone company. So we worked with like the FCC, the Public Utilities Commission, the FTC. So when you talk about compliance, man,
Right.
you had a name tag. 20% of the space of it had to be the company name. Like there were actual compliance rules, right?
Right.
And if you broke a rule, the way that they held you to the standard was, hey, if we asked every other businessman in your industry how they'd interpret this rule and how they tried to follow it, if you didn't meet that standard, then we're going to hold you accountable.
Right.
But otherwise, you're probably going to get a slap on the wrist, a warning. And I don't feel like we hold ourselves to that same standard in medicine, period. You know what I mean? Because that's what this is. This is medicine.
Right.
Even if Big Pharma doesn't want to call it that, we are a medical marijuana industry. Do we hold ourselves to the standards of making medicine? And I get that we can't all
no
have.
is the
I
answer.
get that we can't all have CGMP certified facilities. I don't.
Yeah.
I try and get as close as I can with what I can. I try to do the best I can. But a lot of people are like, hey, how can I make money?
Right.
And that's where, if you're coming from that place and then you're trying to argue corners you cut, things you didn't get that we knew about, that you went to the county to avoid getting. No, man, there was a way to do it. There was a way to do it right. And if you didn't do it, there are inevitable consequences. I hate that. I think that they're unfair. I think that they didn't design a system that makes it easy to rectify issues.
You
Right.
just hit the nail on the head right there. Missouri is totally different. If
Night
you
and day.
have a question, you call the state, you get an answer. It doesn't matter what the question is.
Oh, yeah.
You get an answer.
Yeah.
If
And
they
an
don't
answer
have
you
an
can
answer,
act on.
right? If
Yeah.
they don't give you an answer, it's because they have to go get the answer, but they get back to you with an answer.
Yeah.
Point being, you don't leave the space of mind you're in without an answer.
No, and that's entirely different. We exist in a state of quantum superposition here in Oklahoma, where it's like, listen, you may be following the rules, you may not. Until that inspector shows up
Consult
and
an
observes you,
attorney.
you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, consult an attorney.
Well,
Why?
even
So
they
they
don't
can
know.
charge us money to tell us they don't know. And
Right.
listen, I'll call OMA or I'll send OMA an email so that we can get further clarification. That's not going to be an answer. That's just going to be proof that they don't know. That's all that is.
One
you
of
know?
the coolest ideas that I've had here. Are you familiar with Brandy Frisbee?
Yeah, I love Brandy.
I love Brandy.
Super compliant lady.
Awesome.
Super
Awesome.
compliant.
Awesome. She has. She's mentioned this to me probably 10 times over the last year. She's been trying to put a bug into OMA's ear that they should open another license type for compliance
I agree
people.
completely. 100%.
I do too. Here's the problem. Here's why that can't happen. Because that would mean that OMA would have to have a certification of themselves.
Right.
They would have to train somebody.
Yep.
It's not that they won't. They fucking can't.
Well, and I think that's what it is.
That's the problem.
You have people that are in charge of regulating something that they can't regulate. They can't.
Right.
It's not that they're not trying to; they just can't.
And I used to be, fired up, boy. I used to be so, from day one, people just did nothing but talk shit and dogged Oma forever. And I was always like, guys,
That's the wrong tact. Yep.
Yes.
Right.
Wrong way to go.
I was like, come on, guys, come on, like, give them a chance. In the beginning, it was a very unfair shake that Oma got tossed. They had 90 days to figure the shit out, right? They had it work-ish, not really, but they had something put together in 90 days, and they're ready for it. It was they weren't their standalone entity; they were a part of the health department. My bitch now is, what the fuck's your excuse now? We're 7-8 years in, whatever we're in. You're your standalone entity now. You're your own thing. You got bukus of fucking money, but nobody has any answers yet, and it doesn't seem like anybody's gonna have answers on anything. I'm just
everybody's wigging out right now for the new portal.
Why did that happen? Why did anything like that happen while everything was still in a state of disarray?
There's no reason why they shouldn't have beta tested that with actual licensees. They have license in everybody, and a lot of people say this like, "Oh, Oma comes to me when they want to do that." Most of them are full of shit, okay? Because most of the people are real small people that somehow knew a senator, and that's what got them into the door, and they don't have any necessarily any different
connection,
connection, but
He's about to do it.
they about to freak out.
Well, no.
Oh.
Say they come to me.
Yeah, they come to me.
No.
But they have people that they trust and they know they can go to, and basically, kind of like you were talking about earlier, have a real good idea of how something's supposed to look. They could have pulled 5, 10, 15, 20 licenses and said, "Hey guys, let's run this and let's test this out." They didn't. They did it with I heard they did it with like a computer model. Like they let a computer model test it or something.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Why would they not? We're not affected by it anymore because we don't own the lab. We work for a lab. And the lab licensing is very different. We've never had I've worked here, we've had 3 renewals since I've been here. All 3, the very last one, which was in a time where everybody's renewal was taking crazy amounts of time. We submitted renewal Thursday at 6 p.m. When we came in Friday, it was renewed.
Nice.
It's just, it's a totally separate team that looks at labs. So we've never had to deal with that. I haven't had to deal with licensing in 4 years since we were our last company. So all I'm going off of is the shit I've heard from people like Steve Roper at Vapor.
Yeah.
Well, and that's going to change your patient card portal too, right? It's all connected. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Well,
it's all connected.
I think
provider.
Yeah, even think about you've got how many credential licenses that are about to expire. Coming up at the end of next month.
You're right.
That's all coming up.
At this point last year, I believe you were, which you might, I guess not, right? But you were able to go ahead and submit it now, and then come the second of the year, they push it through, and you basically, if you submit it early, you're like on the top of that list. Because like I got mine last year. I mean, within a week,
couple hours was mine.
I had it definitely the first week of January, but I also submitted like mid-December. But I didn't even think of that until right now.
Yeah.
Man, you can't do that right now.
We got real lucky when it comes to like the OMA and OB and DD that we got renewed on both right before all the crap happened.
Yeah, good.
And so we don't have to worry about anything until like October of next year. Otherwise, I'd probably be just as stressed on some of that stuff. Cause,
yeah, no, 100%.
I mean, because here's what it is. It puts you in this loop, right, of do you get on the phone for 3.5 hours to be told there's nothing they can do? Or do you, but that's also the way that I'm hearing people are getting it taken care of, is they get the right person at OMA and they actually dig in and
I was
figure
talking
it
to
out.
Steve Roper yesterday, and he was telling me, so they acquired that Bigsby license. It's called Nature's Leaf, or what's called Nature's Leaf.
Yeah.
So that's Vapor Herbs now.
Okay, sweet.
He acquired that, and it comes up for renewal next month. So, with the whole new rule thing, you got the 30, 60.
Yeah. So he's trying to hurry up and do it.
Well, that's all turned off right now. They've I am not a fucking attorney.
We believe this to be true.
I have been told that is not active right now. If you're going off my word for your livelihood, you're an idiot. I've been told that that's turned off right now. So, for whatever reason, Kate, his daughter, made a phone call to OMA yesterday, was going to just wait on hold because she wanted to find out if they basically how it worked is they required the license, right? So if they renew now, they have to renew through the old name on the owner or whatever. If they wait another 30 days, the OBN one is done, and then they can just renew under their new stuff, right? So Kate was going to call through and talk to somebody and ask, can I blah, 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 blah. Something to do with that. I don't remember exactly. The phone prompt will now tell you how many callers are ahead of you. She waited in line for 2 hours just before she hung up. When she called, she was number, I think he said 162 or 167. And I'm like, 150 plus people are calling in and waiting. You know there's like 14 of them.
Out of how many licenses?
Yeah, and there's not even that many. They've hacked a lot of them.
Yeah,
we're down to what? We're under. Well, the total number is what? It's under 3,000 now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I want to say it's like 2,400.
In smaller and smaller
every month when they put that report out.
Yeah,
right. It's there's not but in like those of us that are like still trying to survive this, it's like. Eventually,
I mean,
it's gonna be great.
I don't like to kick it, man. We have managed, Be Elevated. We bought out an owner a couple years back, and when at the time that we did, we were looking at being about like 6 figures in debt, and we said, okay, hey, we as our owners, we only pay ourselves $500 a week, and so we were able to really stack back, get out of debt, and now. Profitable company. That's great. So while everybody else is struggling, we're just like, hey man, let's keep going. Let's not fuck it up,
Well, and if you can, we know people that have a very like a studio type space where they keep their overhead almost at nothing, and everything we've mentioned people that. They can't get their product out there because they can't make it fast enough, or they don't want to scale to that to do that. But they're selling out every time they throw a batch out there, and they're happy. You're getting to do something that you love to do.
I love that.
I don't want to do anything else. I don't want to be in any other industry. I love doing what I'm doing. I could do what I do almost anywhere, but I thoroughly enjoy like we do help people. And when you have those moments where you get to do it. It's awesome. Like we've got the Cowboy Cup is this Friday and Saturday.
Yeah,
I'm pumped.
I am too.
Well, and that's a moment. Like I know on Saturday you've got the kitchen technique class.
So so on Friday at 1:00 we're doing a minor cannabinoids or major, where we go into each of the minor cannabinoids. We talk about them specifically. And then my favorite part of that class is we do synergy pairings. So we actually educate patients on, hey, what do THC and CBG do together? Why do flowers that have those hit different? What do the trios do? What does THC with CBD and CBC look like? And so really empowering and educating people with that. And then also my hemp company will be there on site. We'll be sampling out a lot of the free products, and then we'll even have products available for sale. And then on Saturday, though, what you were talking about.
Hold on, that was Friday at 1 you're doing that
Friday at 1 we're doing that. That's on the main stage in the consumption tent. I'm really proud of Cowboy Cup for that, because, last year the consumption tent was separate.
Right.
And where do you go when you go to that event? Or a lot of people go to consumption event. Now that's in that main tent area, and so when the people are going to be hanging out, they'll be a lot more exposed to the education.
That's awesome.
So I think that's awesome. So on Saturday at 1, we're doing a live cooking demonstration. We're having to use hemp just to remain compliant.
Yeah.
This is Saturday at 1?
Saturday at 1, yep. And we're going from showing how to go both from a shake and a flower, decarboxylation, extraction, and then doing what's called an infusion plus purge, meaning that, Oklahoma has some rules regarding operating a still, making your own Everclear, things like that. So to avoid doing that, we're showing people how to safely cook the ethanol out of an oil or butter mixture. And so we'll go all the way from something you could go from the dispensary to buy to a ready-to-make edible.
That's dope.
And explain then from, hey, once you've got this infused oil, how can you use it? Because from there, it's limitless.
For the people that don't want to spend $400 on a butter machine, a magic butter machine. Yeah.
Listen, nobody needs a magic butter machine. And we even dive into that, the way that a lot of those machine works are on, single temperature states.
They're actually not even great.
No, they completely nuke your terps.
Right,
They convert a lot of CBN. but they're designed to consistently work a way that makes you feel super stony.
Sure.
Honestly, they're not even designed to make medicine. They're designed to make very narcotic cannabis products. And so we teach people how to do it right. We explain why you've had such problems at home using standard ovens. And then we go into a couple of the really cool, unique ways that if you're in a pinch, caught in the woods, at home without your gas oven or anything, how to use your plant medicine.
That's dope.
That's dope.
That's
dude.
dope.
Like
I'll be there.
We're
I'll
gonna
be
use
there.
some TV magic, like, hey, we put it in and then here's the finished
Sure.
one, because the only way to fit it into the hour. But then we're even sending a complete PDF for people to take home for anyone that does want to go on Amazon, buy a
That's
water
dope.
distiller, and actually learn how to fully make their own FICO or RSO at home. Because my thing, man, I don't gatekeep anything. I'll tell you how to do every single thing I do, because you know how to make a cheeseburger, right, Brandon?
Yeah.
Do you ever go to McDonald's?
All the time.
Well, there we go. Even if I tell somebody how to do everything that I do, the way that I do it is so intentional and somewhat arduous that nobody's going to wanna.
No,
And
I
when
buy
you-
pre-rolls.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
and
Like
so-
I could,
He's the worst of the
I
worst.
could
Cam
roll.
Yeah.
said.
I
He
used
buys
to
a
love
pre-roll.
rolling. Well, I love the ritual of it, but yeah.
When you get, especially, God, I can't even imagine when you get 10 kids, you're just like, yep, nope, I'm just going to go buy it. Yep, I get it, bro. I got 2 kids, and I'm like, I'm exhausted.
Have you tried any of those nudes hash holes yet?
No.
So it's got like a
well, that's the
it's got a
the
rotini noodle
right?
in it. Yeah.
So that's so.
So I wanted to
that
ask.
literally, bro. That was the old school fucking
Yeah.
way to put a filter
Yeah.
in your blunt.
I know.
Like, that was. I mean, which here's the thing, dude. It's genius.
Now
Like,
I want to ask, kind of as a testing lab. I mean, you guys. I know you're not the science guys. Are you having to test the rotini noodle? Okay, thank God. I'm like,
Because you don't consume it.
okay, thank you.
We have
Thank you.
Yeah,
clearance.
'cause,
we have clearance from. Not even going to say that.
right.
So
because it's non-consumable, because it's a
not
filter.
consumable. It's
Right.
not. Now
Right.
the paper
Yeah.
has to be tested. Has to be part of the equation.
Because you're consuming.
Because you do burn.
Because you
the
don't
burn
eat
it.
the filter.
consume it. Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
okay. That's-
But you don't purposefully smoke the filter, so the filter is
Yeah.
taken out of every process.
Okay, so when you do regular pre-rolls, you don't. Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's great. I love that. I had that question as soon as I saw it, but I'm like, I know they do it in Cali and Colorado, so I know they're doing it ethically and compliantly. I just wanted to be like, my nerd brain had to know. It had to know. You know what I mean? Because they use like caking
all
agents
filters.
and shit on some of that stuff, don't they?
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Oh wait, are you talking about in the lab?
No, I'm talking about like when you make noodles. I don't make noodles.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know.
I
how to
bet
make
you
noodles.
could boil that noodle down at the end and
yeah.
toss it back and.
Right? Probably, you probably,
It might be-
will some, yeah.
I mean, to be
Put a little
honest,
spackle on it.
it wouldn't be necessarily infused, but it may have picked some up.
That's what I'm
you
saying.
know?
I was
Yeah,
about to say, I just had
eventually
if that were a brand that I bought, I would keep every one until
And
I had
just
enough to make a pot,
make
of,
a
noodles
pot of noodles?
and just mac and cheese time, boss.
Here's my nudes. Yeah,
Bro,
Absolutely.
it's we were talking about it like a couple weeks ago, but because it's like fairly new on the market
Mm-hmm.
and the branding. I mean,
yeah, nudes.
like
it's
I've
great, dude.
seen it's like send me your nudes. I'm like, dude,
Yeah. And I'll tell
genius.
you what, man,
Like, it is.
the newest one I saw, they're using pollination flour, fire flour in there. The rosin was really
Pollination
good.
is fire
Because
flour.
Josh Favy that runs nudes, he used to work with like was it Arctic Fox? Arctic
Yeah,
Yards?
yeah.
He used to work with those guys. Those guys had really good rosin. So he's a rosin snob. So it's really
Well,
really good
you
pre-roll
gotta
if you're a
be.
pre-roll guy.
because there's been like a ton of like the niche if you're not
The one that was a
high-
hash wrap itself. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, in like they've got a like I had a dude because I've been like really really good friends with the Honor brand, like the Cannagar company for
Yeah,
a long time. Dude,
those girls are amazing,
love 'em.
dude. Amazing girls.
But like I've seen other people that are like, we're doing Cannagars, and then you
And you see them and you're like, no, you're
bro,
not.
Like
You're
Yes.
not.
it's a
Well,
there's,
dude, I
like-
didn't know.
Yeah.
And so when he first introduced me to them, I was like, "Oh, Cannagars, I've seen those." And he's
Yeah.
like, I
Yeah,
believe
not
that you've
really.
seen them,
Yeah.
but you haven't really seen them."
Yeah.
Right.
And I had never really, tried a Cannagar. I'm not gonna lie, I never tried one.
Yeah.
And so the first Cannagar I ever tried was
it
theirs,
Honor?
and I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh,
Yeah.
bro, it's fine."
This is-
The first one I ever tried was the rose petal one.
No, it'll set you up for.
I liked it.
Disappointment later
Yeah,
on in
well,
life.
yeah,
Yeah.
It did. I liked it. My wife did not like it. She did not like the rose. I don't have a sense of smell, so my
Okay.
taste is way different than most people's,
I
right?
got you.
So I could taste the floralist thing, but it wasn't
But it
really
wasn't
strong for
overwhelming
me.
to you, yeah.
For her, she is super opposite of me. Super
Yeah.
sensitive taste, super sensitive smell. She was like, I don't like. It's just a little too much for me.
Yeah.
So I got one of the other ones,
Galaxy
not
Gar.
the Galaxy Gar.
yeah, that mug was nice.
Fire. She loved it.
Yeah.
And then I seen and I don't even remember who made them, but it was a company that was not Canagars. Then they were doing Canagars. Now they do not do Canagars. But I tried it, and it was like, oh, wow, this is way different than what that was. It burned hella fast.
Yeah.
It was just like, it just
Well,
wasn't.
there's not a ton of like high.
No,
there's really not. You know, there's
exotic.
I don't know of
infused
another one.
pre-rolls.
Well,
now.
there's
Oh,
one,
infused pre-rolls,
Nuclei, which was a
heard of that
pollination collab. They did a Canagar, like a wood-tipped style Canagar that was really good. But again,
I can't do wood tips, man. I
7
can't
grams of pollination put into it. Like,
Damn.
you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
But it was also a little spendy for most people.
Yeah, well, that's
Well,
the problem
that's
with
the honor
most
brands,
of them.
yeah.
It's like a wedding gift.
It's an experience. That's exactly what it is, man.
Right.
Well, they made one that was big. I mean, damn, the damn thing wholesaled for like $100 and something bucks.
Yeah.
No,
that's
it got
crazy.
passed around at a like a 420 event. At like
We don't do that anymore. We don't share medicine.
Sure,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. This was
Nor would we ever.
No,
back
never.
before there was things.
rules.
No metrics and
This
whatnot.
probably wasn't even in Oklahoma, actually.
All the people who worked for OMA then, didn't for sure don't know.
They were there smoking, actually.
right. But this thing started at like 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And after 420, it kept like finding its way back.
It's a full-time blunt.
Well,
Within 8
because
hours.
they're like pressed, and
Yeah.
you can and you
process.
gotta like kind of puff on them like a cigar anyway, so you're not
Yeah.
like ripping down on it. But they're wild. But I went to man, what dispensary was I at? I'm like, dude, what's like the
one out
best
in
thing
VA?
you have, right?
Oh.
And right now, there's not like a ton of best things that you have. There's everybody's got the like a pre-roll or infused pre-rolls, but which I guess to your point, like they kind of have to be like a niche thing, like and so right now in our world, that's not really how to make money. Like,
Well, I mean, I
people-
haven't tried. I put out a really cool pre-roll, and I mean, my marketing and branding, I probably don't put enough into it, if I'm being honest. But we did a 0.75 gram of full flower that we then took a fresh frozen, column crashed THCA isolate.
Okay.
Right. So you got 2 rooms of the same flower. You harvest one of them. You bring the other down to freezing. Right.
Okay.
You take it. You put it immediately in the extractor. You run it, right? The pan that dumps out of the bottom is just all the goodies and all the terps. We just dump that back in the flour. So it is like a baby of itself.
right.
The same strain infused with its own baby.
That's cool.
Well, and,
Yeah,
and,
it's
and, and
terpy
those
as fuck.
natural herbs go
Its
so
own
far,
strain,
dude.
exactly. And it didn't take off. But again, I probably didn't do enough with the bougie marketing and things like that.
And you have to in this
You
industry.
have to.
Because, dude,
I've
telling
fought
you,
that hill for a long time, man. Eventually, I'd like to get to a place where I'm doing, printed bags instead of labels.
Right.
when this market matures to the level that some of the other markets will, you won't have to do it as much. You'll
Yeah.
always, you always have to brand,
Yeah.
right? But like, if we were a more mature market, it wouldn't be as necessary because you would just have the people that understood and would try it, and that would be, if you ever wanted to get huge, you would have to, but we don't see that a lot here, man, because
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I still walk into dispensaries and hear, yeah, I just want the highest THC you
Oh, yeah,
got.
absolutely.
And they can
Absolutely.
look at the flower. I've said this 4 times on the show.
Right,
I'm
right.
such a
Clap
derp. Clap it. I feel like a broken record. Steve Roper. I was at Vapor Herbs. I walk in.
Shout
and
out
Have
Steve
you
Roper.
have you met him?
I have not. I'm not in
You
vapor
need to.
herbs.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a
He's a good dude. He's a great dude. He's one of my very best friends in the world. I love him to death. So I talk about his dispensary a lot because I pretty much don't shop anywhere else because
Okay.
I have to go see my best friend anyway. Why the
Yeah.
hell would I not? One of my best friends, sorry.
Hey man.
I know. I'm sorry. I would have to go see one of my best friends, not quite as bestie as this
Yeah.
one, but he's just under.
We understand there's like levels to best friend.
Yeah, and
There's
he gets
your best
real
friend.
catty if I
Yeah.
fuck up. Like he almost killed me on an episode one day. But yeah, I go there, so I was there, and I'm not kidding you, bro. I seen this take place in my brain. I was just like, Jesus, when? But guy comes in, yeah, what's the highest THC you got? And like, well, we got a 34, 35, whatever bullshit number it was, and it was their value strain. It was one of their value strains. So it was not only was it a smaller nug, it was just not cured right. It was darker. It was not dark. It was browner. It just didn't look like it had a great smell. It was super, just not very moist, like very dry. And it had crazy 32, 34 number on it. They had a, what was it? A Flo Limon from Kind Love.
Okay.
When in an era where I think their Flo Limon was the best it's ever been. Super sativa, so if you don't like sativas, but absolute sativas. Fire. Absolute fire. Tested at 19%.
Which is where it's supposed to test.
Right.
If you look at the genetics.
Right. And the dude smelled that. And smelled that because one of the budtenders was trying to, push
trying
it.
to actually give him some medicine.
Because he said he liked sativas.
Yeah.
He went with the 32 stuff. And I don't think it was price related. It may
Well, I
have
was
been,
going to say,
I don't think it was.
Well, because that was going to.
There was a price difference, but
there's a caveat to a lot of that. What's your highest THC at this price?
The price wasn't talked about. Now, maybe he saw and just knew, but like he came in and asked for the highest THC.
But let me ask you this, and I'm being very, very real here, okay? It's easy for us to get onto those patients.
Sure,
or judge
100%.
those patients. Who is teaching those patients?
You're not wrong.
I mean,
You're not wrong.
even me, I teach more events and more actively than anyone else that's based here in the state. Pepper Hernandez probably does more events because she's nationwide, right? Regina Nelson doesn't even live here anymore, and the writing she writes about is from science in the 90s. Like, there's nobody teaching. And when you go online and you look at even the culture magazines, they're full of crap. Y'all can quote me on that. All y'all are full of crap. Y'all don't write shit. Like, they just don't. And so there's nobody actively teaching. The garage generation, which became before us, right, they were so worried about, hey, listen, I'm not even doing this myself. Hypothetically, we're doing this. They weren't teaching each other.
Right.
And the current generation gatekeeps knowledge, legitimate knowledge, so much because they're afraid to work hard that nobody's giving away, nobody's putting people on game.
Man.
And
you've thought about this.
Absolutely, man.
That's,
I mean,
you hit the nail on the head, bro.
Well, and that's
real.
That's the reason that we're starting to teach these things is, realistically, like CBG, for example, is like the architect of your high, right? If you combine
CBD on steroids, baby.
If you combine CBG with THC, that's the reason Rosebuds was as popular as it was those first couple years, because they were putting out stuff that had CBG and CBC in like the 1.5-2% range, and so people were just getting these ethereal, euphoric, super cognitive highs.
Their flower was so fun.
Right, it
We're a
was.
dope brand too.
Right?
Like, their branding was on point. Like,
Yeah,
fire.
and I mean, but a lot of that stuff, we didn't know why certain growers were so good. Now,
Good point.
we do, but nobody's teaching.
You say we.
Well,
that we is
the
very small.
We, the
Yeah.
scientific community, have a certain understanding. But even that, man, that's so still evolving. Like, you've got certain growers that understand how to pull out certain terps.
Sure.
And they'll make a claim to fame because they understand how to pop delta limonene on almost any strain, even if it doesn't belong there.
Right.
Right? But all stuff like that is somebody's figured out one thing and keeps it to themselves. So that's what you've got a collection of.
Right.
So I think the onus is on us. And I say us here because, again, testing lab
Sure.
and scientists. I think it's actually on us to do that educating. Because otherwise it hurts the business, it hurts the people actually growing good stuff, it hurts the labs doing stuff right, and the only people it helps, nobody. I mean,
Well,
there's
so,
people doing
like,
shitty business,
You've almost got to have like a collective space where you could actually feed this stuff into.
See, and even that becomes a problem because you get people, and I mean, I'll never be guilty of this. I'll never start a school of it. But you get people that start their own school of cannabis or endocannabinoid research, and it is what they believe, it is what they think, and so you're training other yous. Even the collegiate programs that do this, it damn near feels like they're written by AI, not from somebody with actual tactical experience.
Shit it's just not anything deeper than surface level.
No,
and
it's
some
not
of it just be
pertinent.
dead
It's not.
wrong.
No, and so none of it actually teaches. And this is one of the dangers and fallacies when the professionals and the experts don't actually know. And that's why what I said earlier, they don't know what they don't know.
Right.
They know what they know, or they think they know what they think they know. But they don't know what they don't know.
How do we fix it?
conversations like this is where it starts. I think actual real teaching events. I think the giving away. I think community involvement. There's a lot of other people that do really good events to try and teach, but there's not a lot of community support behind that.
You want to know how bad it is? We have a license type that is for education.
Was there any? Two.
And I don't even know if one of them does anything. Like, I think it may honestly be like, why not?
But we also designed that license, the research and education license. Sure. We designed those to where they couldn't really be monetized. What did we expect as a state? Sure. Like, you've got to let people make money. That's just a reality of reality, But yeah, education is definitely the hard hill. I personally just try and handle that by being as open as possible, by almost over-explaining to where we can at least encourage a culture of questions coming from our patients. Because ultimately that's what's going to happen is patients are going to start asking the right questions, and then that's going to demand that the industry become educated. But even on a larger systemic level, who educates the system? Who's educating OMA? Who's educating,
Well, and I guess the roadblock on that is the schedule. Right, so until that reschedule or
deschedule, no reschedule,
deschedule.
Well, you say that I don't know.
Well, that's always been the why is there not information? Which now this has been around long enough to where because I have found great stuff on Reddit, right? Like I have found there are some spaces where like people try to help each other. But it's not organized, and you can't take that stuff.
I feel like that's an excuse that that higher up use because we're here and we have the ability to be here without that changing. It could be so much better, but we got to have people to make it better.
Well, they're not putting like government money into
that. Oh
yeah,
no. There's no.
Well, I guess on a state level they probably could.
Well, it's very interesting. There was a concert that the Fuck Cancer concert that they have here in town.
I heard about it.
There was a cancer doc at I think it's OSU. He's an actual doctor, part of their program. He got a $150,000 grant for cannabis research. We reached out to him. He has no actual direct experience or knowledge of any of this. You see what I'm saying? So even the people that are researching it,
what did he write on?
Academics, because they're asking one question. Academics can only ask one question, right? And that only applies to that one specific thing. So it's a weird place where the scientific knowledge has vastly expanded the academic knowledge, and legislation's behind both. And it's I don't know exactly how it catches up, other than everyone becoming more educated. Before the show, you were talking about how I should go back to school and get my degree. That's the thing that prevents people from Don't
make me sound like a dick.
No, but it's the truth, man. I've done what I've done, and it's amazing. But it's also kept me out of rooms.
True.
You know what I mean?
And I want you to know, in case I didn't make it clear, I only meant just so there's never anybody that could tell you no.
100%.
Okay,
well, and
right.
that's even a reality of what we're dealing with right now. I've got buddies that are going to meet with Donald Trump to speak about the future of their industries, from insurance to cannabis, and I'm not in those rooms because of mistakes I made in my past and not being a doctor or having a master's degree. And the buddies in both of those rooms, they're qualified to speak, but not to design the future of where we're headed.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's no judgment on anybody.
Sure. No.
But I, when you talked about Conor McGregor and how he said from the beginning he was the best, I listened to a lot of Kobe Bryant interviews, and he decided from a very early age that he was going to see if he could be the best. And so that wasn't even my goal. It was just to see if I could be the best. But I stand 10 toes deep that I'm him in terms of cannabis extraction, bioavailability, formulations, SOPs. I've become him. And it's not because I'm so smart, it's because I'm willing to steward it. And I hope that there are more people out there that
always
are willing to learn. Steward it, yeah. Because, man, my favorite thing to say is I have no fucking idea. I don't know. Let's find out, because I promise you the answer's there. We live in an age where the answers are always there. You just got to be asking the right questions.
And figuring it out seems fun.
Absolutely. I think it's amazing, bro. We've never existed at a time where we could access the entire wealth of collection human knowledge like this. I think the last time we did is when we built the pyramids, and shit got reset after that because
we don't
knew
even
too
know
fucking
how.
much. Exactly, you know.
Let me ask you this, because we are definitely at a point.
Is this
where we
the
have to wrap.
longest episode?
There's one that went a little bit longer.
Okay.
And we don't really know why.
Wow.
Because it was an episode we came
It was
into.
just me and you, wasn't it?
It was just me and you.
Yeah.
And we
That's-
we had a very minimal list of topics that we were
Okay.
wanting to touch. And it was about we did chase a lot of squirrels, because
Okay.
we do that. That's
Yeah.
what we do here. But yeah, we were going.
Yeah.
No, this is our therapy.
Yeah.
This is-
Me
it really
too. I
is
love
our-
this.
It really
This
is.
is our weekly therapy.
Let me ask you this: where can people find your product, and how?
products.
Yeah.
Products. I said it. I mean it in a plural sense.
Yeah.
Where can people find your products, and where can they find where they can find them?
Sure. So the easiest place to find us is probably on Facebook, Instagram. I'm mostly active on Facebook under Joshua Edward Graston. We have our own CBD store here in Broken Arrow called 918 Relief that has all of my hemp products. There are a handful of dispensaries kind of scattered across the state.
Sure.
There's been a pickup of interest in them actually carrying those as well. But patients anywhere can go to beehiveblends.com and order directly shipped to their front door, because everything there is Farm Bill compliant. As far as people wanting
And non-THC.
non-THC, exactly. Yep. There are a couple formulations that we're still selling through while we're in that year grace period.
Sure.
Especially like the nighttime gummies. CBN has a much more narcotic effect when it's combined with some THC. So that one, we're wanting people to access the medicine while they're still allowed to.
Absolutely.
Be elevated products. We're carrying about 200 dispensaries across the state. We're not in a lot of the big chains. I mean, we're in a select few products are in like the Okie Wonderlands with Allen, but we're in a lot of what I consider the really medicinal dispensaries across the state.
You're looking for a bud tender that's not going to shy away from, and I say that not as though like, I know a lot of the guys at Mango. I know the owners. Used to know a lot of the Edmond bud tenders, purchasers. You'll never hear me say anything bad about them.
Yeah.
I think they're great guys.
Well, even at Okie
but-
Wonderland, Alan.
Well, yeah,
he does hire
100%.
His budtenders are great.
Yeah, and what I was saying by that was, I'm not saying this because they're big or anything. If you've ever been to those stores, they're fucking busy, bro.
That's what it is. And
a lot of them just don't have time to sit and try to go through it. And they probably would if you were there at the right time. But most patients that are going in there are not going to go in there to try to get an education because it's intimidating how big it is.
Yep.
There's a lot of shit to look for. People that really want to learn, they're going to go where there's a lot less product, just because it's a thing. So I get that. I really do.
and that's part of the thing is I do most of the sales for Be Living myself. So I go out and make these amazing connections with bud tenders, with purchasing managers, and we know right away whether it's a shop that's going to be able to, there's shops that'll buy your product, and there's shops that will represent your product.
Yep.
Right.
And so we don't
Big
try to
facts.
find shops that buy our product.
Yep.
I've got one dispensary. God love him. I have to chase him every month for a payment because he bought a whole bunch and didn't understand that his bud tenders were not gonna. They didn't buy in. And
No,
so,
we would have. Even once we were already in the dispensary, we would have private meetings with the bud tenders, and like allot me an hour of your time so I can show you, not just tell you, but show you why my thing's great.
Yeah.
Let me come and show you.
I
would
used to-
let me work there. Let me come for an hour or two.
Yeah,
Let
and
me-
work the
let me
counter.
Work the
100%.
counter. Let me show you how to help people. With
So
this.
that's what I actually used to do before life got so full. Was I would do guest bud tending. I'd do a 4-hour shift for free. They loved that.
Oh yeah.
And
No, if I can get it in your hand, so
Yeah.
you'll at least try it, you're gonna come back and buy it.
Well, now that's hard to do with the whole credentialing thing.
Well, and what's beautiful for me though is I do a lot of pop-ups, and so the bud tenders get to witness me for a couple hours talking to patients one-on-one, explaining the medicine, but explaining it to them in a way that fits to their life.
Right.
And when we do those, we see such just a dramatic increase in patients that we're helping.
Yeah.
So but again, that goes back to the educating the bud tenders. Now I will say Annette Hendricks is working on a bud tender education program right now, specifically to bring the average bud tenders up to speed.
So
Annette
before
Hendricks?
we went medical, Like, so it passed. I knew we were going medical. I paid. Man, I forget what they were called. I've got an ID from it somewhere. But this was like 2017, I think, maybe like early 2018. But I paid for a course in Oklahoma City that was just a bud tender and cannabis education course. And I got because I was certified.
You got a certification.
Yeah. I literally I paid. Me and my buddy paid the money. We went. We sat through the class.
Did you learn anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't terrible. It wouldn't apply to anything now if you took it, but at the time it was like, okay, like this is very doable.
Yeah.
So maybe every other Oklahoman ought to jump in it.
Yep.
How it went, but no, but tender education, because this is. We all know this. Like our bud tenders are selling our products more than anybody. More than you.
They are our
anyone.
pharmacists in reality.
Absolutely.
They need to be able to not only sell it but answer questions and let people know what to expect. And
and people sell, especially to their friends and the people that they care about, and the people that are wanting medicine. They sell the things that they believe in and they love.
That's right.
So it's super important.
Absolutely. I will say that's been the thing that we've been really blessed by. I started running billboards finally 5 years in. Other than that, man, I've never sponsored an event. I've never paid for advertising. We've never ran ads on Facebook. We have been a word of mouth, just freaking help people company. And we've seen how much that'll build. But I will say the biggest attrition to that is bud tender turnover.
Yeah,
Because you get people that are so invested and they are down for it, and then they'll leave that shop, and then that person changes in the shop, and if you don't go back and re-educate that new bud tender and get them reinvested, and as a patient, it's hard to understand any of this because they just want to get their medicine and want to be able to afford it and want the person giving it to them to know what the fuck they're doing. But yeah, we're definitely trying our best to bring them all up to speed.
No, you guys.
And while continuing to educate ourselves too.
What was this Annette Hendricks doing?
Annette Hendricks, she has been doing. Well, yeah, she's working on a bud tender training program. She's one of the ladies that's been doing a lot of the women in cannabis.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's on Saturday.
Entrepreneurship, yeah.
She's 3 to 4 p.m. Cowboy Cup on Saturday. The woman of cannabis panel is going to be going on. I'm pretty stoked on that.
So she's doing the bud tender education on a bigger level or at Cowboy Cup?
She's part of the women in cannabis panel. The bud tender education is a project that she's been working on that she's talked about at a couple of events.
And then, and just to remind us all, Cowboy Cup is going on Friday and Saturday.
Definitely come out to the classes. Come out and cheer for us Saturday night. We're up for 8 categories at Cowboy Cup.
When you click on the main page, it says from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. But when you go to buy the tickets that are going to run you $49 to $69, depending on, I think 49 is 1 day pass, 69 is 2 day pass.
Oh, okay.
15% off for veterans. Thank you guys. But when you buy the tickets, it says 10 a.m. to 11. But on the main page, it's 10 to 10. So either way,
I think we're going to 11. I think so.
Yeah. I feel like
plan
that
for 10, expect 11. No,
right. And then also Herbert's Mag. So
yeah, they just announced the top 5 categories.
If you go on herbertsmag.com, under every category are the finalists, essentially.
Yeah, I wish you didn't have to go under every category. James, what are you doing? What are you doing, buddy? Come on.
We got the link and then had it, shared directly to our individual. But January 24th is when the event will be taking place.
Yeah.
They're going to announce all of the winners at that event. If you want to sponsor that event, it's January 15th is the deadline.
The deadline for that. Yep.
And they've got different packages you can go over.
I will. I'll be in there. We got nominated for some things.
Yeah, I knew that, but and
they're dropping that
special
edition
issue,
bag that's going to be there. So
I went. This was the first time I actually bought like some ad space. I bought it in that magazine. I said, if there's even a chance that we win some stuff, I'd love to be able to have some words in there. So I'm using half of the page for ads, and then I'm actually writing an article on the other half, a special article for the Herbage issue.
Good shit.
Yeah, I don't even know what
it's
about.
I need to find out what. I know we sponsored. I don't know if we just sponsored that or if we actually are in the magazine too. I need to find out.
Well,
I tend to barter my presence a little bit this morning.
I love bartering.
Me too.
That's
man.
what a good
Me
system.
Too. I wish it was, totally is. I bartered for this.
Shane, please. Would you
Well,
tell him?
after the show, we got to
Okay.
get her out of here. But do you have anything
bartered for
else
Jesus.
you want
Anything else?
before we head out?
Anything you want people to know?
No, I feel
before-
like this has been amazing. We filmed as long as a movie, y'all.
Dude,
It's
so
almost
It'd be
Titanic.
like that
one, like I
sometimes.
said in the beginning, we could do this, all day
Yeah.
long. So we got to have you back out, man.
Absolutely,
this has
man.
been
I would
Absolutely.
love to have you back on.
the funnest episode that we've done.
Oh, thank you, guys. So
This
fun.
is cool.
Don't tell Tiny.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
You can tell John Kumbis though, because he ditched
Well,
us.
I can tell Tiny now because his legs all jacked up. But yeah, we'll wait a little bit. But
Not when he's
dude,
not-
thank you for visiting us, Josh.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you for this is my favorite podcast I've ever done.
That's
love
awesome.
that.
Literally,
Thank
I've
you,
done
bro.
some cool ones. This is my favorite one.
Thank you. We try not to chase too many
We
squirrels.
try. We're trying to build that Berniac. Base
burnouts,
up.
yeah.
But I'm Shane Davis,
And I'm Brandon Fountain,
and we are the Controlled Burn.
and we're out.
Peace.